Hi, and welcome to Deborah Smith Music video tutorials. When determining the key of a piece of music, or the scale a piece of music is based on, we look in two places. The first is the key signature, and the second is the last note. This key signature consists of B flat and E flat. The major scale with these two flats in the key signature is B flat major. Consequently, B flat is Do. If we then look at the last note of the piece of music, we confirm that the key we are in is B flat major, because the last note is B flat. If a piece of music ends on Do, it is in the major key belonging to that key signature. In this next example, there are no sharps or flats in the key signature. The major scale with no sharps or flats is C major. This tells us that C is Do. As this piece of music has 4 parts and is not a single line melody, we need to look at the last note of the lowest part. The lowest note in this instance is C. This tells us we are in the key of C major. In this next example, we again have a key signature that has B flat and E flat. We now know the major scale with this key signature is B flat major. Therefore, B flat is Do. However, when we look at the last note, we discover it is not B flat, but is G. If B flat is Do, then G will be La. Do, ti, la. If the melody ends on La, then we are in a minor key. If G is La, then we are in the key of G minor. The key signature in this next melody consists of 3 flats, B flat, E flat, and A flat. This is the key signature for E flat major. Therefore, E flat is Do. Looking at the last notes of this piece, the lowest last note is found at the end of the second system. This note is C. If E flat is Do, then C will be La. Do, ti, la. As the melody ends on La, and La is C, we are in the key of C minor. For more information and resources, visit dsmusic.com.au. Hi, and welcome to Deborah Smith Music video tutorials. Level 3, Section 15, Scales. When you are looking at a melody given to you without using a key signature, you will need to determine the scale or key on which this melody is based using other methods. Study this melody. You will notice a few things. Firstly, you will notice that there is an F sharp on every F in the melody. Don't forget that a sharp, flat, or natural lasts for a whole bar. Therefore, the second F in the third bar is still F sharp. The other thing to notice is that there is a C sharp on the only C in this piece. If you think of this as a key signature, then you could easily create one out of these 2 sharps. F sharp and C sharp are the key signature belonging to D major, among other keys. Therefore, we could write this melody out with a key signature like this. If we look at this key signature, we know that D is Do because it is the tonic of the major scale with this key signature. However, if you look at the last note, it does not end on do. It ends on re. When the tonic of a melody is re, we know we are in a Dorian mode. In this case, we are in the E Dorian mode. For more information and resources, visit dsmusic.com.au. Hi, and welcome to Deborah Smith Music Video Tutorials. Level 3, Section 12, Scales. When determining the key of a piece of music, or the scale that the piece of music is based on, we look in two places. The first is the key signature. The second is the last note. This key signature consists of F sharp and C sharp. The major scale that has these two sharps in the key signature is D major. Consequently, D is do. If we then look at the last note of this piece of music, we notice that it is not D, it is A. If D is do, then A will be so. If a melody is based on do, we say it is in a major scale or a major key. If a melody is based on la, we say it is in a minor scale or key. However, if a melody is based on so, we are in the Mixolydian mode. In this case, we are in the A Mixolydian. The A Mixolydian has D as do. Look closely at the melody and you will notice it is based on A. The tonic A is repeated many times in important places. The dominant E, which would be re in a Mixolydian mode, is also important. It's where the tonic frequently leaps to. It's the second last note leading to the tonic, or so. There are many indications here that this melody is in a Mixolydian mode. For more information and resources, visit dsmusic.com.au. Hi, and welcome to Deborah Smith Music Video Tutorials, Level 3, Visual Scale Recognition. This video is designed to give you an example of a process for undertaking this type of scale recognition question. You should create your own process and write it down based on things you notice about the scales that will help you identify them. Our task is to identify this scale by its tonic, a letter name, and as either major or minor, in this case, natural minor. This question type does not use key signatures. Therefore, our first step is to determine what the key signature would be. In this scale, there are two different flats, B and E. Notice that the B flat is repeated at the top, as you would expect. So, we could write a key signature for this scale like this. This key signature tells us that B flat is do. This is because B flat is the tonic of the major scale with this key signature. The tonic of a major scale with a particular key signature is always called do. If the tonic of this scale, the B flat, is do, then this is a B flat major scale. Have a look at this next scale and let's work out what the key signature would be. In this scale, there are the same two flats, B and E, as were in the previous scale. So we could write this scale with a key signature like this. This key signature, as we just worked out, tells us that B flat is Do. However, the tonic of this scale is G, and therefore not Do. If B flat is Do, then G, the tonic, is La. A scale that begins and ends on La is a minor scale of some type, in this case the G natural minor scale. It is the natural minor because it has the same notes as B flat major, its relative major, but begins and ends on La instead of Do. For more information and resources, visit dsmusic.com.au. Hi, and welcome to Deborah Smith Music Video Tutorials, Level 3, Section 7, Scales. You will be played a short melody several times. You are to choose which of these two tonalities the melody is in and circle the correct answer. To begin with, sing a major scale in Sol-Fa, followed by a melodic minor scale in Sol-Fa. This will prepare your ear for the differences between the two scales. Consider the main differences that you will hear between a melody in a major and a melody in a minor scale. The most obvious is surely the fact that either Do or La will be the tonal center. The easiest place to find this tonal center is the last note of the melody. Please listen to this melody for the first time. Focus on whether you strongly feel Do or La as the tonic, and which note you hear as the finalis or final note. Hopefully, you recognized the minor feel of this piece, the minor feel created by many things. Yes, the last note is La. The first note is also La. Melodic phrases of importance were this at the very start. Lu, 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 lu. They are the first three notes of a minor scale. La, la, ti, ti, do. Here it is for a second time. See if you can recognize any other common melodic patterns that you might find in a melody based on a melodic minor scale. We've already decided the first bar is La, la, ti, ti. Did you hear the second bar as a scalic passage? Scalic from the melodic minor scale? Do, re, mi, fa, mi, mi. Of course, that bar in isolation could be either major or minor. The next bar is the bar that tells us without question this is melodic minor. Listen to the melody for the third time. Did you notice that the first four notes were the top four notes of the melodic minor? Lu, 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 lu. It's the next four notes that clinches the melodic minor. Lu, 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 lu. The melodic minor scale is the only scale where you will hear different notes when you go up to when you come down. That bar is mi, fi, si, la, sol, fa, mi, re. And of course we finish with mi, mi, la. Please listen one final time, thinking about all the melodic elements that make this melody melodic minor. For more information and resources, visit dsmusic.com.au. Hi, and welcome to Deborah Smith Music Video Tutorials. Level 3, Section 13, Scales. You will be played a short melody several times. This melody will be either in a major tonality or a mixolydian tonality. You will need to circle the correct answer. To begin with, sing a major scale, followed by a mixolydian mode, beginning on the same note. This will highlight the differences between the two scales. The main difference will be the seventh note. In a major scale, this seventh note is the leading note and leads to the tonic by way of an interval of a semitone. However, the seventh note in a mixolydian mode does not have a leading note function, as it is a semitone lower than the seventh note would be in the major scale, and therefore does not pull or lead to the tonic like the major scale does. So in this example, you'll be listening for whether the finalis is do or so. This may be quite hard to tell because the scales are so similar. It's probably easier to listen for melodic patterns that use the seventh note. For example, if you were to hear the following melodic phrase, sol, la, ti, do, then you would know do was the tonal center and you were in a major tonality. Alternatively, if you heard the following, re, mi, fa, sol, and so is the tonal center, then you are clearly in a mixolydian mode. Please listen to this melodic example and decide whether it is major or mixolydian. Did you hear sol, fa, mi, re at the start of the second bar? And did you hear Fa, sol, la, sol, sol at the end. Both of these specific phrases tell us we are in the Mixolydian mode, and that so is the tonic. For more information and resources, visit dsmusic.com.au. Hi, and welcome to Deborah Smith Music Video Tutorials, Level 3, Section 3, Intervals. The first step to orally recognizing intervals within a melody is to simply listen and determine the tonality. The tonality of this melody will be either major or natural minor. Listen for the first time to determine which of those two tonalities this melody is in. Hopefully, you recognized that the melody was in a major key. In other words, Do was the tonal center, and the last note was Do. Write Do above the last note in the melody. Listen to the melody for a second time and determine the last two notes of the melody. You know the last note is Do. The last two notes will remain in your memory after the melody is finished. And this will give you an opportunity to work out the solfa for the second last note. Hopefully, you recognized that the second last note was also Do. It was not the same Do as the last note. It was an octave higher. Therefore, the interval between the second last and last notes is a perfect octave. Please write this beneath the brackets. Listen to the melody for a third time. The Do of the last note should still be in your head. Is the first note Do? If not, what is the first note? Use the third playing to work this out. Did you recognize the first note as being the same as the last note, or Do? The fourth time, listen to the melody to work out what the second note is. Write this in solfa above the second note. Did you recognize the second note as being Mi? Do up to Mi is a major third, because Mi is the third note of a major scale. Please write this beneath the first bracket. Use the final playing to check your intervals by singing as much of the melody as you can in solfa in your head. For more information and resources, visit dsmusic.com.au. Hi, and welcome to Deborah Smith Music Video Tutorials, Level 3, Section 8, Melody. A 4-bar, 2-part melody will be played several times. The melody is missing from 2 bars of the clarinet part in the notation given. One of these melodies will be played in the missing 2 bars. Before you listen for the first time, inner hear the 4 melodies, in particular noticing where they are different. Create a map for your ears to follow before you hear it for the first time. In other words, have a look at the first bar. The first bar is the same for 1, 2, 3 and 4 up until the last beat. The last beat of 1, 2, 3 is Re or D. However, the last beat of the 4th example is Mi or E. Therefore, I will begin my listening at 4. I will circle the note that is different. If I hear it go up to Mi, then I know it must be 4. If I hear it only go up as far as Re, then I know it cannot be 4 and can only be 1, 2 or 3. Have a look at the start of the second bar. Parts 1 and 3 all begin on F or Fa. However, example 2 begins on La or A. If you hear this La descending to So and Fa, then you know it must be 2. If you don't hear that, but rather you hear Fa going up to So, going up to La, then you know it must be 1 or 3. Assuming we're continuing, 1 and 3 have the same next note of So, but the note after that is different. Number 1 goes up to Do. You will hear the tonic. Number 3 goes up to T, that is the leading note. If you hear it go up to Do and then fall to La, you know it must be number 1. If you hear it only go as far as the leading note, T, and fall to La, only a step, then you know it must be 3. Here is the 2-part recognition of melody exercise played for the first time. Follow your map as you listen. Once you get to the second bar, circle whichever melody you think it is. Here it is for a second time to check your answer. Hopefully, you recognized that the melody played in the 2 bars missing from the clarinet part was that of 1. For more information and resources, visit dsmusic.com.au. Hi, and welcome to Deborah Smith Music Video Tutorials, Level 3, Section 5, Rhythm. A 4-bar, 2-part rhythm will be played several times. 2 bars are missing from the top part
in the notation given. One of the following 4 rhythms will be played in the missing 2 bars. Before you listen for the first time, inner hear the 4 rhythms, in particular noticing where they are different. Create a map for your ears to follow before you hear it for the first time. In other words, have a look at the first beat. They are all the same. However, in the second beat and third beat, you will see that A is different to the rest. So I show an arrow to begin listening to A. I circle the different rhythm on the second and third beats. I then show an arrow to where the next difference occurs. If you hear the T tam on the second and third beats, then you know it is A you are listening to. If you hear the tam T, then you know it cannot be A and must be B, C, or D. Have a look at the first beat of the second bar for B, C, and D. You have discounted A. You will notice that the first beat of B is different to that of C and D. So I draw the arrow down to B and circle the pair of quavers at the start of the second bar. If I hear those quavers, I know I'm listening to B. If I don't hear quavers, but rather hear ticka ticka, then I now know it's either C or D. On the second beat of the second bar, C has a group of quavers and D has a group of semiquavers. For ease of writing, I will put an arrow to the second beat of C. I could just as easily put the arrow to D. I will circle the pair of quavers. If I hear those quavers on the second beat of the second bar, I know I'm listening to C. If I don't, and I hear 4 semiquavers, then I know the answer is D. Here is the 2-part recognition of rhythms exercise, played for the first time. Follow your map as you listen once you get to the second bar. Circle whichever rhythm you think it is. Here it is for the first time. 1, 2, 3. Here it is for a second time for you to continue working out or check your answer. 1, 2, 3. And one final time. 1, 2, 3. Hopefully, you recognized that the rhythm played in the 2 bars missing from the top part was that of C. For more information and resources, visit dsmusic.com.au.